And now, Houston, Texas, make some noise because the time for talk is over. It's time to unleash the Fury.
We are live.
We are on. Rich is in Nashville.
Good deal. Oh, yeah, what the hell's in Nashville?
I don't know. OnlyFans.
I thought it was
For Rich
Kentucky.
Burmaster. Now, hey, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of good times and stuff in Nashville, but for Rich Burmaster, I mean,
I think he's.
what is there? Is there a
something
porn
would work.
convention or what?
Could be that.
Yeah, okay.
Dildo convention.
Yeah.
What?
Dildo convention for Rich.
Circle back to our Denver trip where
You're right.
poor
Look at that.
Uber kid, man. We had that kid convinced that we were porn salesmen.
You and
Selling-
Rich?
Yeah. Oh God. Dude.
Rich can do it, man. He'll carry that shit on and carry it on.
Yeah, I had a couple of drinks at me, so I went toe to toe. We kind of just bounced off back and forth.
This was
You won't get one over on Rich
After
Burmaster. I've
weigh-ins?
said it before.
that was after weigh-ins. Huh?
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
weigh-ins.
On our way, I think it was.
Were you in Denver?
No. I'm looking at the, hold on.
Diego doesn't go anywhere
No, he doesn't. He goes to work.
into the massage.
Sorry, guys.
I saved the world from
Sorry,
the perils
guys.
of evil.
I can't go. I gotta work.
Diego goes to
Good
the
right here, as far
to
as-
the local shows and to the massage spots. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky we get these podcasts in when we do. I mean, he's got
look
a
relaxed.
he's got a hectic massage parlor schedule.
Were you in there this morning?
I was not. I wish.
Where were you?
Yeah, whatever. It smells like
Where-
eucalyptus in here,
Diego.
man. I don't know. I'm not
Smells
buying
like,
that.
It smells like lavender.
It smells like essential oils in the studio today. I don't know if I'm buying that.
It smells like lavender. Well, shit, man.
I
We're
like-
fresh off of Fury Challenger Series.
Fury
Yeah,
Challenger Series
Were you
7.
there?
I was there.
You were
Yes.
there.
Yeah,
You were
surprisingly, Diego was there.
I was
Good
there.
job on
Produced
stream,
the
man.
whole thing, man.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta get
got some good
we gotta get
peoples.
some equipment for him to be able to communicate to me in the cage.
Yes.
'Cause,
I
man,
have it. I have it.
whenever I watch these feeds back,
Take some
and
notes,
it's always
Diego.
it always starts with me standing in the cage, looking confused, like, "Hey, are we live? Hey, are we on? Hey, are we on?" And then I finally see Diego in the back with a thumbs up, and then I'm like, "Okay, we're live." We got to do something about that, man. It looks
Working
it looks
into it.
bush
Working
league. It
that
looks
problem.
beneath us. What we've come to
Hey,
be.
Diego's
People have
been
come to
on.
expect from you, Diego.
Diego's been on board with us for how
Ever.
many years now? 12?
Something like that.
It's been about 12 years?
Yeah.
12 years,
12
too
years.
long.
We started one camera.
Yeah, so I mean,
I remember whenever the feed used to go down all the time.
I've watched Diego grow just as much people have watched us grow.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's hard to cut ties with somebody like that, but
I
I'll
gave
fucking
him-
do it, Diego.
I gave him his
will do it.
flowers a few episodes back. He's come a long way, man. I remember those early days, those Submission Hunter shows where he first started
One
streaming.
camera.
One camera.
Remember that first Fury event that you shot the whole thing with your iPhone?
Trying to do it all.
Never. No,
Trying to do it all on Wi-Fi,
I had
like
a mini DV.
no hardwire, like nothing. Every time the Wi-Fi goes down, our
a lot
show
of
goes down.
times though, man, what people don't understand is like the internet in the venue plays a huge
It
role.
does. It
You know,
does.
granted, there's no
Yeah.
excuse.
No,
like we
no.
got to have our own
No.
backups and
Yeah,
shit.
we-
At this-
We can only do so much, though. I mean, we
Right.
can't go rewire the building.
and where we're at with like the Fury FC shows on Fight Pass, I mean, there's backup to backup to backup.
Yeah.
You know, so D's getting there.
Yes, I am.
He's getting there. D, stay out stop spending your money at the massage spots and buy some more equipment.
These nuts.
But anyway, good card this weekend, huh?
Yeah, man. I was really looking forward to several fights, and they didn't. They delivered. They didn't disappoint, man. So I'm really looking forward to talking about the main event, and then a couple other fights on there. Man, the crowd was hot, man. Like like they usually are whenever we come to Houston. I mean, you can always bank on like a hot MMA crowd showing up.
Yeah, Houston. Somebody asked me the other day, where do we know that for a fact that people are going to show up? It's like,
We
obviously,
don't.
Well,
Yeah, I
at
mean,
home we do.
You have kind of an idea.
If you compare Houston to
Tulsa.
Tulsa, Denver, Edinburgh, whatever, New Orleans, like the crowd in Houston's always going to be hyped.
Yeah.
They're always going to be ready.
It's
right?
home base. It's where we've spent the most time here, so I mean, it makes the most
We
sense.
have great crowds in San Antonio, though.
Yeah, we spent some time out there, too. I was just going to say San Antonio is a great home away from home. We've spent just as much time out there as we have here almost. Dallas is another growing
Dallas has been
spot
good.
for us.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas has been really good to us. Oklahoma's a work in progress. Denver, man, I've never really been disappointed, but outside of maybe the very first Denver show we did.
Yeah.
There, but I mean, Denver has showed out also, man.
Yeah, for sure. This weekend, though, this past weekend, Solid Amis, solid pro.
Yeah,
pro
man.
card.
Yeah.
Lot of-
Dude, I mean, on the undercard, I mean, we only had 6 amateur fights, so our undercard was a little smaller than it usually was. But man, dude,
Look who we opened up with, though.
Yeah, dude, Arlton Ardry, taking on Patrick Olima.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Open it up.
Alima's going to be a problem.
Arlton Ardry, I think, fighting his 35th amateur fight.
Yeah, and I talked to Bob before
kid.
that, and I was like, man, when are we going to turn this guy pro? Or we were thinking that was going to be the last fight, and then we were going to turn him pro. But being how it ended, I don't know if that's still the plan.
He wants to.
Yeah, what was that? A head kick?
Yeah, I didn't write it down.
He hit him with a head kick.
I think so, man. A TKO, a minute 40 into round number 2. Patrick Olima got the nod over Arlton Ardry.
These guys were
former lightweight champ, right?
These guys were going for it.
He was the 155 champ at one time, right? Or
He was, yeah.
He was 45.
55, and then he tried to make his way to 45.
Yeah.
Didn't make the weight. Went back to 55, but Olima's going to be a problem, man. I already have him set actually to fight. He's going to fight Sean Tillman.
Okay.
In November 12th. So
right around the corner, but he's
right
already in
around the
camp.
corner.
Looking forward to that.
That second fight on the card, that kid Ezra Elliott impressed the shit out of me,
Yeah,
man. With his
man.
grappling.
Nathan Regino was 3-1, and Ezra Elliott getting the tap out round number 2, 244.
Relentless with the grappling.
Rear naked choke, man. Nathan Regino is another one of your upcoming prospects. Man, that was a great looking fight on paper, and it delivered, man.
Yeah, shout out to Nathan, though. He defended that choke as long as he possibly could.
sure he did.
I think the whole first round, they had his back, and they were just swimming, from left arm to right arm trying to get that choke in, and he was defending.
Yeah.
So Ezra's going pro.
Oh,
that was it for him.
Yeah, he
so.
moves 4-0 as an amateur, perfect record, time to go pro. No time for a title fight in the amateur ranks. He's ready to get paid.
Yeah, he said that he's ready to go. I saw the frustration in Nathan, and I love Nathan. He takes care of business. He goes, gets his medicals done, sells tickets, shows up on weight, ready to fight.
Future's still super bright.
I can't wait to have that kid back.
Yeah, moving on. Next fight. Mehul Samoratu, our man Rich Burmaster's guy. Rich Burmaster not with us this week, unfortunately. I would really love to hear him brag on this kid. But yeah, man, he gets the TKO in the first round, minute 39 over Paul Wilson.
I'll tell you what he did. He did everything that Rich didn't teach him.
He did the opposite of whatever Rich was saying in the corner.
And that's why he won.
Hey, man, you're probably right. He was listening to Sijin down there. Listening to his daddy Sijin.
We'll talk about it later, but Sijin made a funny-ass comment. So Mu is the only guy from their team that he cornered. Sijin only cornered Mu.
Yeah.
And the other two Rich cornered.
So I'm onto something.
And Sijin was like, if I would have cornered those other two guys, they would have won. It's like, the only guy that won is the guy I cornered. What'd you think of that fight, Diego?
It was exciting, especially the victory when he got super freaking excited.
He
man.
clipped him. So
Yeah,
he was set to leave to UT the next day for school.
Genuine emotion out of that kid, man. Like he's not rattled. Like you could tell he's having fun out there. In his debut fight, it didn't go his way, but he was super calm, super relaxed. Didn't work out, whatever. He's not like overly emotional. You can tell he's very technical. And then this fight, whenever he won, it was like almost like he won a scratch off on a lottery ticket. Like, holy shit, I won! Oh my god! Like you couldn't wipe the smile off his face. Man, it was a feel good moment for. It was a feel good moment for Rich and the team, or at least for Sijin maybe. But dude, what are you doing over here, D? He gives me the dickhead mic every time.
Why do you
man.
do that to him? You don't like Wayne?
Now he's over here strapping it up with Velcro tape or something.
What is that? Your cockering?
You're good right there.
See, that'd be great. Yeah. Why does this smell like lavender? Hey, I don't want to. Don't answer that.
I produce a.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Hey, why's there little
massage
hairs on
parlors.
that?
Yeah, dude.
podcast.
There's a bunch of like little curly hairs in this. Did you like
What are you
shave
doing,
somebody?
man? What are you doing? Pull that
Anyway,
out.
I don't know.
Hey, back to business. Next fight, Chris Castillo taking on Damian Orande, a fight I know I was looking forward to. Man, Chris Castillo stepping up, man. I mean, that's a fight that, I mean, they're both 2-1 going in, but we all kind of know Damian Orande's BJJ pedigree, and his MMA skills are showing too. Arande picking up the tap out to a rear naked choke. Just over a minute into round number 1.
Well, Chris Castillo did exactly what you should do as an amateur, man. Take tough fights.
Tough fights.
Take tough fights.
If you want to get anywhere in the MMA game, I mean, you're not going to get there by protecting yourself from tough opponents.
If you're going to fight Damian Arande,
this is the time
fight
to do
it
it.
as an amateur. Fight him as an
Yeah,
amateur, man.
exactly,
because I guarantee you, when this kid decides he's going to turn pro, it's going to be hard to match him because nobody's going to want to take that first pro loss to him.
Yep.
So like, get the shit out of the way right now. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, mad props to Chris Castillo stepping up to take on that one. And then next up, we got Devin Jones and Joe Hendershot. Another fight that I know we were all kind of looking forward to. Yeah. Devin Jones,
with the call
shot his shot, a couple months back after he won, called out Joe Hendershot to Alex Morono's face on the microphone in the post-fight interview. It's the fight he wanted. It's the fight he got. Joe Hendershot tap out with a guillotine. Round number 2, 2 minutes in.
Yeah, Devin came out pretty hot, though.
Yeah, he was throwing some hands, man. He looked good there in the first round. He was giving Joe some problems.
And Joe with that wrestling, though, man. That shit was relentless. And once he got it to the ground.
Yeah, we knew that if Joe shot on him and it got to the ground, it would be tough for Devin.
Did it look like Joe didn't like Devin's striking?
I mean, he stood up with him a little bit, but I think, he probably knew where his advantage was going to be.
Yeah.
Granted, Devin's a strong kid. He's big and he's not easy to take down. So for Joe to actually get him down and be able to control him there. And then I think, Devin, he shot. I think he started doing well in the second round on the feet. And he shot and left his head in there. Gave him the guillotine,
Yeah.
Joe felt it, jump guard, and boom.
Hey,
that's all she wrote.
It happens. That's
Again,
why you do it as an amateur. Right?
That's what you do in the amateurs, man. You take the tough fights. And then we go to 4-0 versus 4-0. Brian James and Josh Thomas.
Brian James, Josh Thomas, somebody's had to go. And unfortunately for Brian James, it was him. 29-28 across the board for Josh Thomas, who moves to 5-0 as an Emmy. What does it look like for him? Is he going pro now or what?
Nah, he's going to, wow.
He's
actually a champion in another organization. So I don't know if he's going to go back over there and defend whatever, or if he's going to stay with us.
Cool.
And get a belt that matters.
Oh, shots fired. See, I haven't had that much howler, so I was just going to let it fly under the radar.
Anyhow, either way.
Not firing any shots. But no, hey, man, all the best to him, whatever he decides to do.
Yeah, and he's earned his belt. Whether it's here, there, whatever. He's earned it. Joe Hendershot, I think he's asking for that title fight now.
Yeah, it's getting to that point, man. 5-1.
And I might like to see him and Damian rematch and fight for the title. Now that Damian's won 2 since he fought Joe.
Yeah.
And Joe's won 2 since
that makes
he
a
beat
lot of
Damian.
sense. That'd be a good fight.
Brian James, had he won,
that fight alone would move some tickets, man.
Yeah, Brian and Joe could have been Brian beat Joe, so Brian and Damian could have been a good title fight too. But anyhow, man, we have a division full of featherweights, talented featherweights.
145, 135,
and that's on the pro side and amateur side.
You got all you can say grace over. Just those 2 divisions alone.
Yeah, once these guys start breaking into the pro ranks, these Amis, you look at Arande, Hendershot, Thomas, Jones, James, Castillo.
Man.
Once those guys move over, they start climbing the ranks. Before you know it, if Yadier's not gone, Pluton's not gone, we got
some interesting matchup,
Camillo, Dorian Ramos. There's a lot of guys, man.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of guys.
How about our main card fight? First fight on the main card, Elias Fakiri making his debut for us. His professional debut as well, taking on Sean Top Gun Kennard.
Dude, Kennard looked phenomenal.
Yeah, man. I mean,
you know what it is?
Who can stop that guy, man?
Not only is he training with a great team, and he's got Alex Morono over there, but he's staying active now. And the more active you are, I feel like the more comfortable you get,
of course,
and you just look better.
The more reps
you
get,
man.
the easier it gets. I say easier, but you know what I mean. The more comfortable you get.
He actually messaged me yesterday saying that he might be interested in November 12th. I'm like, damn, that'd be. He's made his pro debut, 3 fights in like 5 months, man. Yeah. So
he moves to 2-0.
What you just saw, if he comes back November 12th, you're probably going to see something even better than that.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really take any damage.
There was no flaws in that performance, man.
He did such a number on Fakiri. His corner stopped that one after round 1 and said, hey, you're not going back out there. I think people were thinking it was a doctor's stoppage, myself included. Whenever I went over there and got the official decision,
They threw the towel in.
They said, no, the corner stopped it.
And real quick, man, shout out to Fury. When we offered him that fight, within 3 days, he had his medicals done, flights booked, everything was ready to go.
Pro's pro.
He showed me exactly what I wanted to see from somebody. So I told him, hey, man, when you're ready to come back, just ring me. I'll bring you right back.
Hell yeah. Look forward to seeing what he can do.
Yeah. Greg Foster, Jordan
Greg
Pluten.
Foster, Jordan Pluten up next. We go 3 rounds, and Greg Foster gets a unanimous decision across the board, 30-27. I don't want to say, he made it look easy, but he kind of made it look easy.
Yeah, it just depends on what Pluten shows up,
man.
I think. Sometimes I feel like Jordan Pluten that is all in 100% on fighting. And then sometimes it's like the 50-50 Jordan. He's got so much other things going on in life, I had a hard time getting with him for tickets and medicals and just different stuff this camp because every time I called him, he's like, man, I have to work.
Yeah.
Which tells me that played a lot into...
probably played a role in his camp as well.
Yeah, he's got a personal life, man. He's got bills.
Yeah.
And if you're fighting once every 2-3 months, man, that shit's not going to pay the bills on this level.
Yeah.
Now, if you make it to the UFC and you're getting 30,000, 40,000, that can hold you 4 or 5 months, depending on the type of living. If you're Derek Lewis and you're driving Ferraris and shit.
Yeah, Lambos.
Yeah, 30 grand's not going to do much, but...
Yeah, Pluten falls to 4-6. With that one, Greg Foster moves to 3-0. Speaking of moving on, Robelis Despain versus Stevie Ray Payne. Fellas, we have a new record for fastest knockout in Fury FC. 3 seconds.
A record that beat the week before's record.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
I mean, what was the week before's record? Because I kind of, unless we're talking like pro or AMI, I remember Sean Dupree with his, flying knee knockout in 4 seconds in Lake Charles.
That was amateur, right?
All right, that was on the amateur side.
Yeah.
What was the fastest pro before that? Before this?
Well,
week?
I was thinking of the record from Tulsa, the amateur side. What was that? 11 seconds?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Was it even 11 seconds? 7 seconds.
Yeah, it was a quick one.
It was a straight right hand, and then we went 4 seconds yesterday.
Yeah, man. 3 seconds.
Oh, 3 seconds.
Yeah, 3, man.
How do you
Give me his
fucking-
credit. Dude, that leg kick, man, that must have been like getting hit in the head with a baseball bat.
I feel like it would take-
Robelis' legs.
It would take Diego longer than 3 seconds to pick his leg up.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not touching that one. I need more howler before I start on how long Diego can last. But Robelis Despain moves to 3-0. Stevie Ray Payne losing in his pro debut.
What
I'm
do we
sure
do?
We'll see him back
What
in
do
the
I
cage
do
as
with
soon as
Robelis,
possible.
man?
Man,
Like-
I don't know. He's 3-0. I mean,
So he's a little young in the career. He's very young in his career, but he's older.
Also, he's also like in his mid-30s. So, I mean,
So he's willing to fight whoever.
in
but
the heavyweight division, I feel like at 35, you still kind of have a shot.
Yeah,
if
for
you're somebody
sure.
like Robelis Despain, he's
Right.
an Olympic bronze medalist. He's undefeated. If he
but I
stays on
gotta
that
get
path,
some guys to say yes.
yeah, that's the problem. This
know?
guy's a giant.
So I start thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not gonna throw somebody like Miles Banks in there yet. Even
Right,
though
not for a debut.
Miles would say,
Oh,
hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we all know Miles Banks would jump right
But
at
I'd
that
like to bring
opportunity.
them up on opposite sides
I'd
of.
love to see that
the
fight,
bracket.
but I mean, from a promotional standpoint,
Yeah.
obviously you have to keep those guys away from each other at least for a little while. You don't want Miles Banks coming in to fight Robelis Despain in his debut fight.
Well, you got Austin Green, who just lost to
Yeah, I saw
Demario Dennis.
He said that he tore his pec.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. So obviously that would affect his performance. He's having surgery to get that repaired. But yeah, a healthy Austin Green, that'd be a good fight for Robelis.
You got Demario Dennis, who just beat him.
Yeah.
Demario's got like 15 fights, though, I
I
think.
feel like he'd be a gamer.
He said no.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
I actually reached
That
out to him.
surprises me.
Well, he's saying that there's really not a lot for him to gain. I said, man, I kind of disagree.
Well, I
Like,
mean, if you take out, an Olympic bronze medalist who's kind of got the trajectory to make it to the UFC, I mean,
then you show that you still have what it
I
takes
got
to
what it takes. He ain't going nowhere unless he gets through me.
knock off some
And I
prospects.
still deserve
you know?
a shot.
I
Dana called me up.
try and explain that a lot, because sometimes you get these guys that are like, man, I've got nothing to lose by beating. I mean, I've got nothing to gain by beating a 5-0 guy. It's like,
Yeah.
what you don't understand is this guy's on the verge of going. He's maybe 1 or 2 wins away. They're going to be watching him.
Yeah.
So if you're the guy that takes him out, then the eyes just changed, you know?
You get hit with a line.
Sometimes,
Tell me the truth.
sometimes I
Tell me
think
you don't want it.
Exactly.
Don't use
Sometimes
that as an
whenever a
excuse.
guy doesn't want to fight, he's got to get creative with his reasoning. It's got to make sense to you so that you don't just shit on him.
What about the flu?
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Why
Yeah,
can't
well,
you
how about that guy that got the flu
come
at
down with
weigh-ins?
the flu on fight day, right?
That flew at weigh-ins, and by the time weigh-ins was over, he felt better.
He was cured.
He was good, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. Here's hoping we find an opponent. I know it's going to be hard.
Oh, I'll find somebody.
Yeah, I know you will.
Yeah, I'm gonna
you
find
and Rich
somebody.
both. That's why Rich is probably in Nashville right now.
Rich is Nashville Hunter. Diego, what are you doing, man?
Man, every time with his ass,
is
dude. It's always something. Diego
What is
on his
this?
phone.
Who's that lady with titties out?
For real,
it
Diego.
off.
Man.
This ain't the place, man.
Hey, watch your
Not true.
OnlyFans videos on your own time,
Yeah,
sir.
man. About
Shout
Jacob
out to
Berry.
OnlyFans.
Jacob Berry and Gunner.
Proud sponsor.
Yeah, shout
Fury
out to
FC.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, Jacob Berry getting a 30-27 across the board unanimous decision over Gunnar Coronado. He moves to 3-1. Main Street Boxing and Muay Thai has no shortage of top prospects. And J-Bob is right there
Another
with him.
45er.
Yeah, man. The stacked featherweight division. And he's an up-and-comer in there.
What'd you think of his new haircut?
Man, you know, I'm used to seeing the long flowing locks at weigh-ins and whatnot, but yeah, man, not anymore. He's like he lost a hair versus hair match or something. Can we do that? Can we have like a hair versus hair match in the cage?
He said he'll never lose the mustache, though.
Yeah, all right, well,
So he's gonna keep the mustache. Who else was rocking that stash for a while? Bob Perez still does, right?
yeah. Bob
Mike
Perez
Jackson was for a little bit.
Yeah, Mike Jackson was another one. Man, I feel like Top Gun. I feel like he does a twisty thing with the mustache too, but he's got the flowing.
You think you
beard
could pull
to
that
go
mustache
along.
off?
Not a chance. I don't.
You want
think
to try
I
it
could.
for November?
Man, I think I'm good. I think I'm good on
I had a
that.
little bit of a mustache when we
Yeah,
first
but
started.
you don't have the kind
Yeah,
that you can...
but then she got up and it went away. So I mean, you know.
Oh, is that what happened, Diego?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Diego
I
knows.
don't know.
Diego knows, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jacob Berry moving on, doing good. I'm gonna try and keep him busy, man. I need
Man,
to.
We also had Pena Alamov taking on Justice Torres in the co-main event, a fight that a lot of us were looking forward to seeing. Justice Torres, good friend of the show. I don't want to say it was a controversial finish. We had a split decision. Pena Alamov wins. Man, Ryan Thompson scored the fight, kind of like I think you and I were talking at cage side during the fight. They spent a lot of time on the ground, and it didn't look like Pena was doing a whole lot with his position.
Right.
So I mean, whenever you get in that spot, it's kind of a coin toss. Which Texas judge are you going to get? And two of them scored it for Pena Alamov just for having the position alone, I guess. Ryan Thompson scored at 29-28 for Justice Torres. He felt like Torres, advanced more, controlled the tempo more, and Pena didn't do
I
as
did
much.
see more of a proactive thing, yeah. This fight than the previous fights.
This fight was at 155 too. Keep in mind, Justice is a 45er.
Yeah.
Pena missed weight the last fight at 45, and he took this fight with Justice on 8 days notice or
short
some
notice.
shit, 10 days notice. So they both agreed to do 55. And prior to this, Justice had, mentioned that he might want to be at 55 moving forward because he likes to eat. Dude, Pena for a 45er fighting at 55 is a big 55er.
Yeah.
Like the dude's big, and he's
It showed it gave Justice problems on the ground.
Yeah, if I think at this point anybody I put with that kid, if you can't stop his takedowns, he's gonna be a fucking problem. It's but again, it's not the most exciting shit.
No,
you know,
really
that's
wasn't.
not something
it was underwhelming compared to the fight that I think we all wanted to see.
There's
going
a
into it.
difference in the way Pena fought Justice and the way Ezra Elliott fought Nathan.
Yeah,
Because Ezra was fucking hunting for submissions. Relentless trying to get that choke in. And I think Pena was controlling the position, and that's really
don't let
about
Justice get back on his feet at any
I mean, I don't want to knock him,
Yeah, no.
or shit on his win, because he beat a fucking 7-1 guy,
He definitely did that.
and he earned it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it wasn't in the most exciting fashion, and those are the type of fights that
They
if
get
you're
these kind of
11 and
finishes, you
yes,
get this kind of reaction from everybody.
right. So
The
if
Tedrick Macklin,
if you're
fight
undefeated,
comes to mind.
if you're undefeated, or you have all your wins by that style,
Yeah, it's
you're not gonna
You
be
say
in a
it.
better place than a guy that's 6-3 with 6 finishes and super exciting. The 6-3 guy will be gone before you.
Yes,
so
sir.
you got to get in there and fucking handle business, man.
That's for sure. And, our main event, Abdul Kamara tapping out Casey Jones. I'm first round, just 1 second to go.
Rear naked, right?
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words, man, because I mean, like, one more second, and it could be a totally new fight. Casey Jones coming out in round number 2, but I mean, he taps with 1 second to go. Man, you know that shit had to be tight.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm trying to think who I talked to after the fight, and I was like, dude, did he realize he only had 1 second? They're like, yeah. Oh, Eves.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I think he was already going out. He was about to go out. And only you, like, from the outside looking in, we say that, but that 1 second matters, man.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, man.
when that shit's tight.
Whenever you're in a rear naked choke by a guy like Abdul Kamara, every second probably feels like a minute.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, hats off to Casey Jones, man. He's another one of those guys, man. One of my favorite fighters personally. I love watching him fight.
I agree.
He's always a gamer.
Always a gamer,
And,
never
you know,
says no.
He looked pretty good in that first round, you know, up until the end there.
I thought so,
But hey,
too.
man, you know, shout out to Abdul Kamara. He moves to 8-1 with that. That's got to put him in the title hunt now, right?
Yes, I mean, I'm kicking a few things around right now. Obviously, Cameron Smotherman kind of relinquished the belt when he went to Contenders.
Series. Yeah.
Now he's back, though. I got Josh Walker at 8-1 as well, at 135. I do believe that Smotherman deserves to grab his title back with one win. Just get one win,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna fight for
Yeah,
the
that
belt.
makes sense. You know, it's the belt
So
that he
actually,
never lost.
I have him booked for November the 12th, and we talked this week, and he
Being Abdul?
no
Or
Smotherman.
Smotherman, okay.
Yeah, Smotherman. He's fighting Isaiah Gutierrez on November the 12th, and
Making his Fury FC return. Nice.
he says that he's going to make quick work of it. And if that's the case, you know, he's going to fight Josh Walker December 3rd for the title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Banger.
they'll probably headline that card unless I get a heavier weight class to fight for a belt, but
Yeah.
it looks like those two would. And I'm going to talk to Abdul's team, and if something happens with Smotherman on November 12th and he can't fight or he doesn't win, then
Yeah.
I'm going to try and pull Abdul in to fight Walker for that title.
If Walker's able to win that 135 title, and we all know his reluctance to fight at 135. He'd rather fight at 125. Let's say he
Right.
takes the 135 title and then makes weight to fight at 125, and he wants that belt too. Is that even an option for you, or
I'd have to see him make weight and fight at 125. You know, I mean, there was some. Obviously, he missed weight when he was supposed to fight at 125 versus Trujillo, but his only fight at 125 was against Eddie Freire, and to say he made weight or didn't, I mean, on paper he made weight, but there was a lot of shit behind the scenes of them saying that they manipulated the scale and did this and that. And
Oh wow.
so
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I mean,
Saying-
from the other team that watched him weigh in. I mean, apparently,
Did he do the DC trick? You push on the towel or what?
I don't know. I don't know, but he cut 2 pounds in like 20 minutes or something.
Hey man.
Apparently.
Okay. Hey,
So, hey, the state called it official, man, and that's what we have to go by. So
that's all we can do.
that's it, man.
We got one more.
But listen, Josh Walker is a problem.
Oh yeah.
So if he can make 25,
125 or 135,
we
Josh
saw,
Walker's
we
a
saw
problem for
him.
anybody,
We
man.
saw him with Mercado at 35.
Yeah, our most recent Tulsa card.
So do you have like a whiteboard with all the
I
fighters?
sure do. In my office.
No?
Yep.
You're watching it? Okay.
And I'm moving shit around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every day he's hustling.
Every day while I'm drinking Howlett.
Hashtag ABH, right?
We got one more fight to talk about, guys. Alex De La Cruz falls to Freddy Rodriguez in the first round. TKO 4-14. Freddy Rodriguez moves to 5-1.
You missed a big fight on this card.
What? Who did?
You did.
Who did?
Did you forget about Cody Steele?
Oh, where's that card? I must have lost that one. That's lost in the shuffle. Yeah, man.
Cody Steele.
Man. Yeah. Dude,
Let's move in.
what
with,
a fight.
Let's do this 125
What
one
a
and,
fight.
and then we'll bring in our guest and
And we can even talk
Talk
about that
about
with our
Cody, too,
guest,
yeah.
right? So Freddy Rodriguez moves to 5-1, taking out Alex De La Cruz. In the post-fight interview, see, Rich threw me a curveball. He's like, "Hey, Wayne, go interview him." I'm like, Okay, so I'll sound like a bumbling idiot through my first question. 'Cause I'm like, okay,
But
what
you,
should I ask?
listen,
But I pulled it off, but that's fine. That's fine.
you do very well on the fly with shit like that.
I appreciate
you
that.
know, and I've always said that. I'll be like, man, Wayne's got these fucking questions and shit just in the back of his head, and they just like when it's like the light bulb goes on and they just float to the front and boom. It doesn't sound like you're stumbling, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But he perhaps prematurely, some might say, me included, he called out whenever I asked him what's next for you. He called out the flyweight champion. Yeah.
By name.
Yeah. Paris Moran, who's going to be joining us here momentarily, a guest in studio this week. Man, what do you think of that, Eric? I mean, he's 5-1, so we know he's not quite in the title picture yet. But man, fighters in Fury have a history of speaking things into existence.
I think that he's a tough kid. You know, I was impressed the way he opened up the fight with Piccinini.
Yeah.
He was one of the few that took it at the time. Nick ended up finishing him and handed him his first loss. So for him to come back and fight the way he fought, I thought he did a great job. I do think that he is a little premature with the record. You know,
Yeah. 5-1
I'd like
is an
to
impressive record,
see him
but we're not
8-1,
quite
7-1.
talking. Yeah, we're not talking quite championship level yet. But speaking of championship level, joining us at this time
With the gold.
Fury FC Flyweight Champion, the man Freddy Rodriguez called out. Paris Moran is in the house, folks.
What's going on?
We got somewhere to put his
How y'all
belt.
doing?
Man,
Yeah, I know
appreciate
where I
you.
should put this thing at.
Appreciate you making your way in. Hey, man,
Put the thing up.
put it over your shoulder. Put it wherever you want. You're the man. You're the champ.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Here, we'll stick it right over here for you. Boom.
That's a fucking belt that matters, right
That's
there.
a real
yeah.
belt. That's heavy right there,
Look
man.
at that shit, man.
That shit almost weighed more than I did fight night.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. We're gonna need that. We'll figure out a way to
Something.
prop that up here
Yeah.
momentarily, man. It's good to have you here in the studio with us. I've asked for you a couple of times, but either you've had a fight to prepare for, or you're on vacation with your beautiful fiance now, or what have you, man. It's great to have
You
you here.
engaged?
It's good to be here. No.
He
not
proposed
yet,
to her
not yet.
after the last fight.
No. I
What?
just
He
proposed,
called
yeah.
her. Hey, he called her into the cage.
Don't start spreading rumors,
Hey,
Wayne.
he called her into the
Come
cage
on,
and everything.
man.
Hey, statute of
No.
limitations.
I mean, I would propose, but I just can't afford the ring that she deserves yet.
Listen,
gotta
I hear
wait-
you, brother.
gotta wait
I hear
a
you.
little bit,
That's,
What-
that's my reason
Once
too.
I get that first big check, then we'll go ahead and propose.
That's how you
Off the
start
question.
fights at home, man. Then my man's gonna go home and be
Yeah.
like, Paris, are you proposing?
Where's
Not
that?
Hey,
yet,
man,
baby.
hey, look, none of our women listen to the podcast. You're safe. Don't worry about it. Just don't tell her you're on here. Just don't tell her you're on.
She's probably watching right now.
The hers is gonna listen. His is gonna
Hey,
listen.
She's watching from his OnlyFans account.
And
on
from
the
and
laptop.
dude,
you know what's gonna end up happening? She's gonna start listening to it, and then she's gonna find your girl on IG and said, "Hey, he said he can't afford a ring. Is that okay? Would you marry him without the
Can
ring?"
afford it to Wayne. Yeah.
Look at Wayne.
No hablo. No hablo.
Were you at the card this weekend?
No, I wasn't. I was at home.
Okay. Did you get to watch it?
I watched it, though,
Did you
yeah.
watch it? What you
Yeah.
think about that with Freddie?
And it was good. I mean, it was a good fight, but
He's
So-
talented. I mean,
he is. But I mean, it's just the record just don't make sense. yet.
There's levels of this, right?
I would
Yeah.
like to see him fight Trujillo
That's a good fight.
or Eddie Freyre.
Yeah.
You know, those are some. There's still some fights to be made.
If he wants to get to that title match level, those are the guys that he's going to need to face and go through to get to Paris Moran, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other fights for him to be in before he
Golly,
scratches
man,
that
two
surface.
Bulldogs right there, man. And this guy could tell us all about him, man. I mean, Alberto Trujillo.
Yeah.
That dude doesn't. He's got no gear but forward. He's
You fought
coming,
Eddie
you know
too,
what, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and he fought Eddie Freyre.
I think it was my third fight. Third
So,
fight. I mean,
Paris-
shit, yeah, he was a bulldog. I mean, I sent you the pictures afterwards, bro. Like, he was using his head. Like, after he shaved his head, he had a little bit of stubble. It was like razor blades. Like, I literally had a
Alberto
rash.
or-
Yeah, Alberto. I literally had a rash all under my chin, like scabbed up and everything. I was embarrassed to go anywhere in public just because,
It's
like,
part of his game plan.
maybe he put me on the fence and was just grinding me up with
He's gonna
like
hit you with that daddy
sandpaper.
stubble until you tap.
Shit, yeah.
It's like a road rash.
It was
Yeah.
bad. I sent you
It's
the
like,
picture, right?
yeah, I saw it, man.
That's one of those tactics that fighters use, like that, and then like the guys that don't shower or
Smell like
wash
shit.
their
And
wash
I
their
always-
drawers for
I
a
always
week
say that,
before
like,
fights. You
these
can always
dudes-
smell him at cage style. Like, okay, we know what his game plan is.
Hey, what do you think about Hallerhead?
I like it. It's good.
Was this the first time you tried it?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
I think I need some
You hear
more.
that, Dana?
I get a little bit more too.
A little bit holler.
Yeah, just a
Yeah,
little
man.
bit.
Come
Yeah,
on,
speaking
man.
of
Pour,
my
man.
name,
You can
so-
pour what you
Yes,
want.
sir.
Yeah, this is our thing. Shout out to Hollyhead Whiskey, Live Oak Vodka. Proud sponsors of Fury FC, official whiskey, official vodka of Fury FC. So besides fighting, man, how's life?
Man, life's good. I can't complain. Shit, I had a lot of changes since like that fight with Josh Van. You know,
Right.
I made a lot of changes. Sorry, you want to do it? Shit, we're getting situated here.
Yeah.
Man, Eric Garcia's trying to spill alcohol and Coke everywhere. Man, that Josh Van fight, going back to that, I remember whenever he came up to me after one of your fights, and he was in the crowd. He didn't fight on the card, but just exchanging pleasantries, and he's like said, I want to fight Paris Moran, like next. Wow,
I remember that.
I don't remember what your record was at the time, and I don't remember what his was, but I remember they were they were a little bit apart, and
I think I was 7-1.
and then come to find out, he had told Eric and he told Rich. He was going around like talking to everybody, telling everybody he wanted to fight Paris Moran.
I think he went and told Paris after one of Paris's fights.
He did tell me too.
Yeah, he did. I think he talked about that in the fight package video or whatever, man. Like, what did you think about that? Like, there's this upcoming fighter, a lot of, I don't say a lot of hype behind him, but
No, I mean, yeah, he had hype.
he had a
was
fair
finishing
amount of
people.
buzz, and he's calling you out, and you're on your way up,
I mean,
about that.
I knew the title was, within reach after like one fight or so, and I didn't know who else was on the table there, but I thought if I wanted
Just
to be the
finish
best,
it,
I
win.
have to beat anybody who's in front of me, So they offered me, I think it was Josh, and no one else wanted to fight at the time, so he was the only one that was down to fight, and he called me out, so I was like, yeah, he's up and coming prospect too, so I wanted to go ahead and put a stamp on that and get the title, so yeah, I was down for it,
So going back to that fight, you said a lot changed after.
Yeah.
Did you, once that fight was over, did you feel like you hadn't prepared the way you wanted, or what changes did you feel needed to be made?
I mean, it's not that I didn't feel like I didn't prepare the way I wanted to. I mean, I felt like I was doing everything the right way leading up to it. I was still working though. I was working Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Right.
Monday. So on the weekends and Monday and Friday, still working, training once or twice a day on those days, and then I'd hard spar on Saturday and then go straight to work. And so I just felt like I was, doing everything the right way. And then after that loss, I got home and I was just devastated because I know that I could have won that fight.
Man.
And no excuses or whatever. Hats off to him. He did his thing and he's doing his thing now. But I went home and I was just like, man, like, what can I do to make myself better? Like literally that night, I was like, what can I do to make myself better, to train more, to take more off of my plate, to have be less spread out, stop working, stop doing this and that, and to train more and then get some more training elsewhere and, other teammates and just everything,
So there was never a thought in your mind like, man, I'm not doing this shit no more. Because
No,
we
hell
see
no.
guys all the time that are on their way up and they take that L and then they're like,
And the psychological part of this game is real, man. And sometimes a loss can derail you.
and they're like, man, I think I'm done. Like, I don't think I want to do this no
No.
more. So like that shit says a lot. Like
Yeah.
to hear that you went straight back to the drawing board that same night and we're
Yeah.
like, man, what the fuck happened? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to get right back in there and get on and to talk about work and stuff, that's basically what I just told you about Pluton.
Yeah.
Like a lot of this camp, I would call him and stuff and he'd be like, man, I have to work.
Yeah.
Or I got to work. So man, and not everybody has, the ability to be able to train full time. So a lot of us has families and shit.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And circling back to your comment where you said you felt like you could have won that fight, man. Not to take anything at all away from Josh Van's win, but man, I remember it happened like right in front of us, that exchange that you got rocked a little bit.
Yeah.
It looked like you were recovering, like you were regaining your bearing whenever Joe Solis stepped in to stop the fight. And I
Yeah.
remember kind of mentioning that to Eric, like, man, I think if Joe gives him another second or two, I think Paris recovers, and then it's a different fight. Who knows what happens? So I mean, to speak to your point, man, I kind of saw that in the moment, but it was not a bad stoppage by any stretch. I'm not saying that it was, but
No,
it just speaks to what you were saying. Like I know you felt like you could have won that fight. I saw you recover. I saw you thinking about the next move and whatnot.
Van is a tough fight for anybody.
He is,
though.
man. Yeah.
Like the dude's a killer, and he had his whole career almost in 2 years, 3 years now,
Yeah, under 2 years.
and he's in the UFC. Do you think about where he's at and Like, had you won that fight, would you be in that place? You
For
think?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's
It
just
definitely crossed
motivation,
my
though.
mind. Yeah, no, it's motivation. It didn't let I didn't let that loss like defeat me and make me go home and cry and be depressed. I literally got home and I was looking at my schedule like, where could I be better? You know, so I went 110%.
I mean, you
in.
talked a couple times after
Yeah,
that, and
for
you were
sure.
telling me, man, I think I'm gonna stop working and I'm gonna focus full time, and then you came back and got a finish.
Yeah.
You know,
Over Jose Ceja.
over Jose Ceja,
Tough
who's
son of a
another
bitch, though,
tough
man.
son of a bitch
That
vet
fight,
who's been in there with
Jose
everybody,
Ceja,
man.
He's another pit bull, man. That guy, man. I remember that fight whenever you fought Jose Ceja because I got like stumbled up in my intro of a Jose. He was standing there growling and barking at Paris like while I'm doing the intro. He's like,
Yeah, he was screaming at me. I was like,
and he
"Fuck,"
was laughing. Paris was laughing. I looked at Paris. I cracked. I started laughing. It was a funny moment. But yeah, man, hell of a fight. You won that one with a rear naked choke in the second round.
Yeah.
2.5 minutes in. Tough opponent, tough finish, and that set you up for that title collision with Alberto
And
Trujillo.
Ceja's been around us for years, man. Like, he fought Cameron Graves at 145, like in 2012, maybe. I
Damn,
think.
10 years after.
Yeah,
wow, 10
man.
years before.
At least, and I remember Cameron hit him with a head kick, and it was a nasty knockout,
Yeah.
flash knockout. But Jose's been in there with whoever, and he's always down. He's more of a brawler, though. He wants to stand up and throw hands. You know, what do you think? Obviously, you're at the top of the Fury Flyweight division right now. You watch some of the Fury fights and stuff. What do you think about the division and the guys that are coming up? We've got
The division's stacked.
Nick Piccinini.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you got Freddie now.
Yeah.
That Eddie Freire still wants to bounce back, and everybody wants a shot at that belt.
Yeah.
You know?
You got an X on your back now that you got the title.
Yeah,
You know?
so-
everybody calls you out, So, I mean, he called me out and I didn't pay no mind to it. I mean, he's just not there yet, So,
Yeah, we like to
no
say.
disrespect, though.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
for sure. I mean, Freddie's tough.
Yeah, he's
you know,
good.
and if he wins a few more, he'll probably get his chance. But
sure.
we like to say 7, 8 fights. We had it at 10, but it's like by the time guys get to 10 fights, we'd like to have them a belt before they leave. And if we make them wait till 10 fights, there's a chance they might go before they get a shot at that belt.
8 to 10 is fair.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
That's what I think. You're 8-2 now?
9-2.
9-2 now.
Yeah.
11 fights.
Yeah. I remember when I had like 4 amateur fights. I was like, damn, I got a lot of fights. Hell yeah. And now I got like 3 times the amount as a pro.
Now you
so,
got 11 pro fights, man. You're right there, man.
for sure.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm looking at his amateur record. He was 4-0. A name that stands out to me, Josh Snow Walker. He has a win over Josh. That's just before he went pro.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, you could argue there's like a collision course there, man. What do you
fight
think
makes
about a
sense,
fight
too.
with Josh Walker?
What
for
do you
the
think
title?
about him going down to 25?
No, I'm down for it.
That's where
I
he wants
think-
to be. He wants to be at 125. We know that. He's
Right.
made no secret about it.
Yeah. No, I'm down for that fight. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's got a good story, too. He and I fought, how many years ago was that?
Golly, man, that
5 years ago?
was back
4?
in 2019.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
Fury FC 31.
There's a lot of build up to that fight, too. So I'm definitely open and down for that fight.
So, I mean, for us, it's like shit, man, to make Paris and Walker at 25. But even the Smotherman and Walker fight at 35 is a
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
fucking
good fight,
exciting
too.
fight for the fans,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
There's
If-
a lot of fights.
If Snow works it right, I mean, he could dominate 2 divisions perhaps.
Well,
You got to get through Cameron first, though.
Oh yeah, I'm
so,
just saying.
that's a
That's what I'm
tough
saying.
one.
If he navigates right, if he's able to.
Jacob Silva's also on a 4-fight win streak.
Yeah.
And he's mentioned to me already that he wants a shot at that title.
Yeah, and I'm down for that, too, but you were saying that he wanted it before December because
Yeah.
he's got a baby on the way,
Right.
But I mean, I can't do before December. I fought this last fight against Trujillo with an injury,
Right.
So I was pushing through the camp. I was like, "There's no way that I'm pulling out," I
Yeah.
was like, "This belt is mine." So, and I mean, it all happened, I guess like destiny or whatever you want to call it, with Josh falling out of the fight, and
Right.
you offered me the fight before Josh got it, and I had to turn it down because I had a small injury.
Right.
And then you booked them too, and I was so upset, like, fuck, man, and then you booked me and Shojin, and then Josh fell out, and that same day I was like, yeah, I want that fight, so.
Yeah, and Shojin was like, damn, you took my opponent.
Yeah. Hey, man.
That's how it goes, man.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, obviously you train, how many times a day? 2-3 times a day?
Right now or camp? Like,
Well, when you're not injured. Because
3.
the way that y'all are training, you're getting injured
Yeah.
here and there. You're probably in there y'all are killing yourselves, right?
What are you working through right now?
I have a shoulder injury.
Shoulder injury.
Yeah, and so like it happened probably like 2 or 3 weeks before the Trujillo fight, and it was manageable. You know, I went to my doctor and we fixed it. You know, I guess we could say. You know, and then like 5 days before the fight, I'm just shadow boxing, just warming up before the training session, and it came back like 2-3 times as bad, and I couldn't even lift my hand.
Yeah.
Into the session. I'm like, oh shit, you know. So I went to the doctor again, and we.
Before the Trujillo fight.
Before the Trujillo fight. Yeah, on like a Monday or Tuesday. So I went to the doctor again on Wednesday. You know, we just kind of did some shit, I guess. And
Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi, you know, fixed me up a little bit. I can't give out my secrets, you know?
Yeah.
And, dude, like, I was good Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no pain. And I'm, like, just moving around a little bit, throwing the hands, just making sure I don't have any injuries. And then literally like, 20 minutes before I'm about to walk, the pain came back.
Before you're about to walk out?
Before I was about to walk out. And I couldn't even lift my hand. And I mean, I know Jonathan Davis was back there, and his coaches and stuff. And I don't know if they saw this or not, but I was icing my shoulder, like literally in the back before I go out there. I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do? You know, what can you do? Everybody's already there. The fight's about to happen. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna pull out. And so like,
Did you think something happened in warm up when you were back there breaking a sweat?
It was injured before.
Right.
So then I guess maybe it just didn't warm up good enough before, or the pain came back, and so I just had to lock in and if I tell myself that I want to be great, or that I'm destined for greatness, then I got to go through these adversities and just win any way possible that I can, you know. And
It's that championship heart.
yeah,
You were ready to go out there with one arm.
I was ready to go out there with one arm. You know, I was just like, fuck it, man. I got to go out there and just do what I can and win any way possible, you know. And I wasn't satisfied with that win. You know, I was just hitting him with one punch moving, 2 punches moving, but I couldn't throw combinations. Like every punch that I hit him with, my shoulder just lit up, just like a zap. And so every punch that I hit him, I was like, fuck, I kind of like mentally froze up, and I couldn't throw it because it just hurt so bad. So, yeah, I wasn't happy after that win. I was like, man, I got the belt and all, but I needed to get a finish, and I wanted to get a finish, and I thought that I could finish him too. You know, so that's why I just gotta take the time and let it heal up. There's no tear or anything. It's just a severe strain without the muscle detaching.
You're one of the most technical fighters on the roster, and I think we all kind of saw it like something was off. And I mean that makes a lot of sense. You know, only having one arm, you know, in a fight, and you still pulled it off though, man. So you're technical enough to be able to get the unanimous decision.
For sure.
Your dad plays a big role in your training and your fight camps and stuff.
Yeah.
Did your dad ever do any martial arts or anything? Or
Yeah, he did.
He's ripped,
Yeah,
like
he's jacked as fuck.
He's fucking jacked.
You would think on
I need to go
paper-
see his dad, bro.
Dude, yeah, my dad's a personal trainer, so if any of y'all
he's
trying to,
fucking-
get some work in, hit him up. But you would think on paper, like my dad's 55 now, 55, and I'm 27. You would think 27, professional fighter, this and that. You'd think I'd be in like better shape than him. But no, my dad kicks my ass.
He's fucking jacked
every
bro.
fucking day. Yeah.
So you got into martial arts when? Like, how did you decide? Okay, I'm gonna start fighting. I'm gonna be a fighter. Was that something always on your mind from when you were a little kid, or?
No, I hated sports.
Okay.
Like I sucked too. Like
Did you grow up in Houston?
I grew up in Katy. Yeah.
Okay.
He sounds like my son. You sound like Ashton.
Hey,
Dude.
so Ashton still has hope.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Here's hoping, man. 15.
Hey, you got hope, I started doing jiu-jitsu when I was 11, but before that, my dad put me in taekwondo, because my dad did taekwondo, he did boxing, and
Same
my
here.
dad's always been lifting and everything, and so I was a really shy kid, and I had long hair, I played video games and whatever, so my dad brought me into the gym.
Sounds like Ashton.
He is my
Yeah.
son. Are you my son?
Hey, maybe.
I kid.
And Dad? And so my dad brought me to taekwondo when I was like 6 or 7. He paid for 6 months. First day I quit. I was like, dude, I ain't doing this. This ain't for me. And then, like 5 years later, my dad and I were trying to find a gym, martial arts and whatnot. And we went to all these different gyms in Katy, Aikido or, some other martial arts. And it just didn't, it wasn't it, like the gym, the vibes, like the training, everything was just off, and it just didn't feel like the place to be. So we didn't force it. And then one night we were eating at Chili's, and we heard these guys talking about this jiu-jitsu tournament that they did. And it turned out that the gym was like 2 or 3 minutes from there. And so I went to Gracie Baja, it was Westside MMA back in the day.
Was that Ted Sickle?
No, it was actually Paul Thomas first.
Paul Thomas.
Paul Thomas,
It was
yeah.
Paul Thomas.
It was Paul Thomas, me.
Crazy Paul.
Dude, yeah. Mike Perez, Nick Schultz,
Rich
it was a
Burmaster
whole
would
bunch
do
of
that.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they know each other back then or what?
Yeah, Paul's been in
virtually
this.
everybody.
Yeah, he's been in the scene forever. Him and Nick Schultz. What happened to Nick Schultz? Is he still around?
Dude, no, he's around. Yeah, he's still training. He's out. I think he lives in either San Diego or Tijuana.
Is it black belt
But
now?
yeah, he's a black belt. He's still a bad motherfucker
Yeah, I
too.
remember. He was little, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
little guy, but just bad dude,
I used
bro.
to see him everywhere, at every Naga tournament, everything, bro.
Winning
like
everything.
when I started back in 07, he was going against whoever, any division, open weight, whatever, little badass. Yeah.
And I think Mike Perez is gonna make his debut soon too. I don't know if you know who that is, Michael Perez.
I'll know him soon.
He's
I
good.
hope.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
black belt out of Atos.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other divisions do you keep an eye on? You watch any other Fury fights?
I watch all.
Are
of
you,
them,
are you
to be
strictly
honest.
focused on the bantamweight division? What do you think about the 155 division? What do you think about our prospect Cody Steele?
Dude, that was a good fight. That was definitely a good
Him
fight.
and Nico?
Him and Nico, yeah.
He fought Nico Echeverry on our most recent card. They fought at 170. Cody made it known, he feels best at 155, but he's not afraid to fight at 170. He got the knockout, 3 minutes 32 seconds in round number 2. Nico looked great in that first round. He rocked Cody a couple of
yeah,
times.
I saw that.
Yeah,
That's
man.
the Nico that I want to see every time he steps in there.
Man, I mean, he
Like-
was a real problem for Cody.
I thought that
More
Cody
so
was
than I think a lot of
surprised
people
with
expected.
But listen, he
Nico
let
had never lost it at 170.
he let Cody be Cody. Because had Nico just started shooting and Cody had to defend takedowns,
Different fight.
could have been a different fight, man. He might not have the chance to open up his hands the way he did, throw the knee. Not to say that doesn't mean Cody wouldn't have won the fight,
Right.
but it could have turned a boring direction, and Nico could have won that fight. But Nico chose to roll the dice. He knew that wasn't what we were looking for, and that's what nobody wanted to see that.
He cracked Cody a couple of
And he
times.
fucking did his thing,
He was
man.
the challenge I think Cody needed. Like, this is what you're going to face going forward. It's
Right.
only going to get tougher.
Cody said that in his post-fight interview, like he needed that type of fight. He's
Yeah,
5-0
man.
now,
in
man.
the moment, man, he was hot. He's very heated. He said some things, and I was like, dude, man, who is this guy? And, he's very respectful, to Nico after the fight was over and everything. But in that moment after he knocked him out, he was saying some things like, dude, who could say that about Nico, man?
I didn't hear
Nico's the
nothing.
nicest guy ever.
What'd he say? I didn't hear.
It
Was it like suck my nuts?
was
Not
like,
Howler yet.
fuck you, bitch, or something. There was like F-bombs and
Oh,
B-bombs, and he threw the mouthpiece. And like, damn, man. But, hey, testosterone in the moment, in a victory
Cody,
like that, I mean, dude. You
Both of
can't
those
fault
guys
that.
have been some of the most respectful,
Oh, yeah.
professional dudes on the
That's
roster.
what I'm saying.
man.
Whenever Cody won, it's like, dude, who is that guy,
Yeah,
man?
Cody's a fucking
He's
savage,
He's
man.
got some fire in him, man.
5-0.
Hell
Now-
yeah. He moves to 5-0. Who'd you like to see Cody fight next? I'm asking the flyweight champ.
Man, I mean,
At 155. At 55. Because that's where he wants to be anyway.
man, who else is like a top contender? In
Tedrick
55?
Macklin,
That'd be a good fight.
That would
Well,
be a good
Tedrick's
one.
like 6-0, right? 5-0.
6-0.
That'd be a really
They're
good
right
fight.
around the same record, man. And
That'd be a really good fight.
Bruce
man.
Whitehead,
Bruce Whitehead too. Yeah, he's what 4-0.
3-0.
Okay, yeah.
Tracy Reeder,
Tracy Reeder
6-2.
too. Shit,
I'd like to see him fight Colton England.
that'd be a good fight too. I haven't seen Colton
Listen,
fight in a while.
Colton's a fucking stud. When Colton shows up, he's a stud. He's got head movement. He's got hands.
Jiu-jitsu too.
He's got jujitsu.
Yeah.
He's got some big ass legs that if he kicks the shit out of you with them, or if you try and take him down, he's athletic and he's still fucking young.
Yeah.
I just think Colton's in that position. Like I was kind of telling Wayne earlier, that when you are more of the vet and you've already been there and now you're back, you gotta knock off some of these prospects.
you gotta
Like,
have some finishes for
If
sure.
you've seen the UFC or Contender Series already and you didn't get picked up, then they might not look at you right away
You have
unless
to have a chip on your shoulder.
I will
and
tell
push
you
on
this.
guys.
Anybody that puts Cody Steele away at this point is gonna have some
That's gonna be a
hype
notch in
behind
your
them.
belt.
Yeah.
They're gonna have some hype behind them.
Yeah, I
We
saw
cut
it.
you off earlier though when I had asked you
No, you
about. So fighting wasn't always your. I'm gonna be in the UFC one day. I'm gonna be an MMA
no.
fighter.
Yeah.
you
no.
went into jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
and you
And I
kind
got
of
my ass kicked every day.
Yeah.
And I
that's how
hated it.
goes.
My dad was picking me up, and I was just because my parents were divorced, and so like my dad, like he only got to see me like once a week, and then every other weekend. So that was kind of our time to like spend more time together. And yeah, like I got my ass kicked every single day, and I cried before I went every time. And then once I started like picking it up and starting to learn some moves and tapping other people out, and then like kind of doing what they were doing to me. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, like I like this shit. Like it's a lot of fun, and I dove all into it.
Jiu-jitsu competitions.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu competitions. I started doing kickboxing. Then I started traveling and competing, doing that. Got to high school, started wrestling. I really just wanted to make sure that like I had the full package.
You're purple belt now?
I'm brown belt.
Brown belt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I never used my jiu-jitsu or my wrestling. And it's so funny. My wrestling coach is so pissed off. He's like, why don't you take them down?
Yeah.
He's from Iran, so he's got a little bit of an accent.
That's what I tell
he's
guys.
Funny, man.
Guys like Cameron Graves. Like Cameron Graves is a fucking stud on the ground, and the dude has relentless cardio, and he can just go and go and go and take down, defend, take down, shoot, and he gets in these dog fights.
Yeah.
And he forgets that he's a fucking black belt
Yeah.
and can take guys down and submit them,
There's
man.
just something about hitting people in the face,
Well, it's more exciting to the
Yeah.
fan as well.
Yeah.
And to the promoter and the higher uppers and everybody. Like, they want to see finishes.
Yeah.
Hey, if you can make a fight exciting on the ground too, man. A lot of people shit on Brock Lesnar back in the day for he's just a wrestler. Well, I mean, like the Frank Mir fight, for example.
Yeah.
It took Frank Mir down and he beat his fucking face in. Yeah. If you're doing that on the ground,
Well, I mean, Brock's a
fan,
fucking
Yeah.
I don't know.
different-
Hey, I'm just using that as a top of mind reference point, man. But I mean, if you could also take a guy down and bash his face in too. I mean, you could make a fight exciting on the ground
For sure.
So at what point did you decide, all right, I'm going to take an amateur fight? And then from that amateur career, at what point did you say, damn, I actually have a chance to be a really good pro? And was the UFC something that you wanted, or would you be open to like PFL or Bellator?
No, I mean, the UFC's the goal.
That's
Other places.
that's what I want to hear.
Yeah,
Paris.
UFC's the goal. Like I don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah, 100%.
PFL, Bellator. I don't even think Bellator has a 125 division, but I mean, even
No,
if they did,
they don't.
I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but I mean, UFC is definitely
I
the
think their
flagship.
primary target is ex-UFC guys anyway. So
Yeah.
you'd have to go through the UFC first to get there.
There we go. Yeah.
If they're still around by
Then
then.
they'll pick you up, But no, the fighting in the UFC has always been the goal since I was probably 15, 16. I was
Okay.
traveling, competing around the world, doing Sanshu, which is like Chinese kickboxing with takedowns. So I was doing that, competing against the best in the world. And probably when I was like 18, 19, then I was like, all right, cool, let's go ahead and take an amateur fight and then start building this MMA career up. I just wanted to make sure that I was covered in all aspects of striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, cardio, fence work, everything, you name it, just wanted to make sure I was great in all of those.
That's good to hear, man.
You've done that, man.
So when you got the amateur belt, is that when you were like, fuck, it's time to go pro at
Yeah.
this point?
I mean, I was supposed to also fight DR Culpepper too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Culpepper's
man.
back.
Yeah, I
He's
saw
back
that.
on our roster. He's actually fighting for us 1022.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's fighting for us.
What, 2-0, 3-0 maybe?
He's
That
3
was-
he's 3-0 now.
I was so pissed that night that he didn't show up. He
Yeah.
had some medical reasons or whatever, but
Well,
yeah.
he had come off a fight with Karan Reed, I think.
I remember that.
Prior to that, right?
Yeah.
Because you fought your whole amateur career at 35, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you fought your first pro fight at 35,
And the second
and then you decided to go to
to go down to 25.
go to 25.
That was like right when COVID happened. And so I was training a lot with Lauren Murphy, and I was
Yeah.
asking her how much she walked around at. And I was like, shit, I walk around the same weight. And she's like, yeah, I fight 25 and I walk around this, and this. And I was like, dude, I can do that too. So I
are
hired
you
a
saying you can
nutritionist.
kick Lauren Murphy's ass?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
not that. Somebody told me she kicked my ass. No, but talking about just like the weight cut and everything, just being able to gauge, how low I could go. So I hired a nutritionist and did it the right way, just so I can, get all the way down safely and then replenish back up.
Smart man.
I had a video. I didn't post it yet, but everyone always talks about like how much weight they can gain, after weigh-ins and shit.
Post weigh-in, pre-fight.
Dude, I was like 12 hours later. I have a video. I was 20 pounds heavier already. Wow. So after
man.
I weighed in at 124 and a half, and then like literally at 8 o'clock that night, I was like 123.9 or something. I was like right there, So by the time I fight, it's like 20 pounds.
What would you say has been like your toughest fight in Fury? Who? What opponent? And toughest and most memorable?
I mean, besides the Josh Van loss, You know, I mean, that one stands out the most just because I want that fight back eventually. You know, once I get to the UFC and he's doing his thing, I think that sets up for a
That'd
good
be a
fight
great
too.
rematch
You know,
in
a
the
great
UFC.
rematch. Yeah, once we both get there, or he's already there, but once I get there too,
Yeah.
you know, and make a name for ourselves, I think that's got a good build up to it.
Would you say that was your toughest fight? Because not necessarily like a fight that somebody loses could be
Yeah.
the toughest one. You
For
know?
sure. No, I mean, because he clipped me and then that was it, you know. But toughest fight, I got to look and see.
And
I
I'm
mean,
looking at some of the names he's faced. You know, Francisco Obando you faced early in your pro career.
That was at 35.
Eddie Freyre, Sean Solis, Joey Elzea, of course, Josh Van,
Yeah.
Jose Ceja, and then obviously, you know, Alberto Trujillo, you know,
Yeah.
most recently in the title fight.
I'd probably say Josh and Alberto, you know. The fight that I was most, like, anxious for and nervous for was the Anthony Doe fight, and that's the fight that I ended up, you know, showing out and just barely even got touched, you know.
And Anthony's a tough
He's a
competitor,
tough dude,
man.
man. Yeah. You know, he fought in ONE FC and Bellator and all that stuff. So, you know, seeing all of that leading up to the fight, you're like, oh, shit, you know. So,
You got a unanimous decision over him.
yeah.
If there was a camp you could go to or a fighter that's in the UFC right now that you could train with, is there somebody that you kind of follow or look up to that you would be like, man, I would love to fucking go to his camp or have him come to my camp and go through fight camp with?
Man, Demetrius probably. Demetrius
Mighty Mouse?
Johnson. Yeah, Mighty
Okay.
Mouse. You know, I think he's, one of the GOATs,
Yeah,
you know,
I
and
was
especially for
about
the
to say,
125
yeah.
division, too, you know. So, yeah, DJ.
A lot of people would say like GSP or Connor, right?
I mean,
I like DJ.
I like DJ too,
Demetrius.
man.
I like all those guys, GSP and Connor, but, you know, Connor's at a different point now, I think, to where,
Yeah,
you know, he's so
he's,
big time.
he's something else now, man. He's not a fighter anymore.
Yeah.
He's a hype man. He's a commercial. He's a cartoon character.
Yeah.
No offense. You know, the other one you said for the GSP, that'd be a good one.
yeah.
GSP.
Khabib,
I mean,
Khabib
going
too.
out there to Dagestan and train with those guys, that'd be sweet. You know?
man, that'd be a wake
Yeah.
up call. Man, you're like getting chased by wolves and shit. The Russian mafia behind you with machine guns.
I feel like I train like they do whenever I'm with my wrestling coach, Babak. I mean, that guy is just like them, man. You know, he pushes us to the limits, you know, and that's what you need to make it to the next level.
So when you ain't fighting, what are you doing?
Training.
Training?
Yeah.
Yeah? You
Yes.
don't have no other activities that you like to do?
No, I mean, I run a business on the side.
Okay.
But I'm getting out of that just because it's too much work for not enough pay, you know.
the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
The
What
juice ain't worth
business
the
is it?
squeeze. I sell on Amazon.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I do Amazon, like
I was gonna
FBA
make
and stuff like
I was
that.
gonna make
yeah.
a joke, but we won't do that.
I heard
Nah.
a lot. I heard good shit about that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, though, man. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, and it's a competitive space to be into, you know?
There's 1.5 million other people trying to do that same thing.
Literally.
There is money
I
in
seen,
it.
I seen
but to
some
get to
video
the
yesterday.
results you want.
I seen a video yesterday of a guy that made $10,000 last month selling Dove soap on Amazon.
Was it KT? It's probably this dude KT Hustles. I mean, his YouTube ads
look
and
and
Instagram
see.
Hey, don't be
ads
saying
pop
his
up
name and
everywhere.
giving him more traffic.
Free clout,
right?
you know,
He doesn't
yeah.
need help. You do.
Yeah, you're
What's
right.
yours? How do we
Man.
find you on Amazon to buy
know,
Dove
right?
soap
Yeah.
from?
I'm getting out. We're selling out of everything right now. It's
Golly,
just too much work for not enough
So
squeeze,
you
know?
just sell
You know what that means?
name brand shit.
name brand shit?
Yeah.
It means you got to like hire somebody to do that for you. While
Delegate the
while you
task.
man-
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, it's just fighting's already stressful enough as it is. Training camp and all that stuff, and then you take on, you know, you're running a full-time business. You know, I have a partner too, but then you have business.
You know what you
loans
sell on
and stuff and
Amazon?
Stress.
Be a big hit. Nobody's doing this. Drugs.
Y'all might not see me again.
Hey, man, I'm trying to send this dude to the UFC,
Yeah.
not to the pin.
Fucking locked up, you
Come
know.
on, man.
It's all Wayne's fault,
So you've been with Fury for how many years now? It's been,
dude.
I know, most of your, I think you had one amateur fight outside of us.
Two.
Two amateur
Yeah.
fights outside of us. Amateur debut was,
2018, man.
Yeah.
that was his amateur debut?
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
my
so-
debut was against Daniel Pete. Or no, with
Ezekiel
Fury.
Wilson
With
is who
Fury.
we got, according to Tapology.
Who?
But
Yeah.
for Fury, Daniel Pete was your
Yeah.
first fight here at Fury.
Yeah.
Daniel Heat Pete, man. Where's that guy been?
He fought.
It's been a
He
minute
looks
since
heavy.
we've seen him.
Who did he just fought?
I was with what's his name?
Justin Longoria.
months
Lagoria.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few months back he fought Longoria. Longoria's a tough little kid too.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
He's back 10-22.
I think he trains with Eves sometimes here and there because I saw him like last Friday at one of our training sessions and we were just talking a little bit, chopping it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been with Fury for years now.
Yeah.
and you don't have to say anything nice. Being by, you fought other places. How do you feel about how we run things and us bringing you up through Fury? Is there anything that you could change about stuff that we do?
No.
Have
no
you had
way.
any bad experiences?
Not with y'all. I've had bad experiences with two other organizations that I fought for. You know, like my debut, it was like a super small organization. I fought outside in the Texas heat at like 6 o'clock, and there was like June bugs all over the mat.
This was June.
Yeah.
June bugs?
Was it in Texas?
It was in Texas. It was in
June
Dallas.
in Texas. It was hot outside.
It was hot as hell.
It was hot that day. I know that.
I mean, dude, you were sweating out. The warm-up was outside. The walkout, everything was outside. And I don't know if they thought it through or not, but the mat, after like an hour, was just covered in bugs. Like, they were literally taking a broom and mopping the bugs off of the mat.
And they would leave it wet.
At least they were that
probably.
nice. At least they
It was
didn't leave the
wet,
bugs
too.
on there. Shit,
Dude,
man.
right?
Give some credit where it's due.
But nah, I wouldn't change anything about Fury. You know, y'all run a great show.
When you turned pro and we offered a 4-fight deal, we like to do 4-fight deals because we feel like it's developmental for guys. And if I can get a guy through 4 fights, and if he goes 4-0 or 3-1 or 2-2 or even 0-4, and I still see potential in him, I'd like to bring him back.
Yeah.
So we always like to start with a 4-fight deal. When you first came to us and you signed that 4-fight deal, was there any hesitation, or did you feel like, damn, I don't know if I should get locked into a contract?
Nah.
Because you've signed more than one 4-fight deal. I think you're on your 3rd now.
Shoot, 3rd or 4th. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I don't even check it. You send it. I sign
Yeah.
it. You know, I'm not looking to
They
go
didn't
anywhere
even
else.
get your
either.
name right. Just for the record, just looking through here. Paris Morgan.
I always get that. I don't know. Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. I'm not going to say the promotion's name.
Yeah. I
But,
get Moran, Morgan, you know, all of those. But
So what would you recommend that other guys come over here and fight a 4-fight deal out?
Hell yeah.
We get a lot of hesitation sometimes, man, and guys don't want to get locked into contracts.
4 fights sounds like a lifetime if you think, oh, I need to go here, I need to go there. I've got offers from these other organizations that want to bring me in. So I mean,
we
4
do
fights might sound
4
like,
fights or 12 months, whatever expires first.
yeah.
But I think we're pretty good at keeping the guy, giving him his 4 fights within that year, at least making the offers. Now, if a guy's injured or he can't take a fight,
things
no
beyond-
problem.
Yeah, beyond our
You know?
control. Right?
But the offers are there.
I mean, y'all run a show damn near every weekend.
I know, and it's just
Y'all can't get
it gets
some fight.
frustrating on the promotion side sometimes when a guy's like, man, I really don't want to get locked into a 4-fight deal, and I'm like, well, how the fuck are we supposed to help you get to the next level if I can't have you for more than 1 fight?
How are we supposed to build you
Yeah.
as a promotion? How are
It's
we
going to
supposed
be
help
very
you grow as a promotion.
it's going to be very hard to get somebody noticed if you come over here for one and then you take off and go to Louisiana
Wherever,
or
yeah.
wherever and you don't get seen. Like,
Yeah.
I think what we have now and what we do on UFC Fight Pass is valuable. And you watch Contender Series?
Yeah, I do.
So this past Tuesday, Contender Series was fucking amazing. Like, the matchmaking that Mick and Sean did was fantastic, except, no offense, Mick, except the heavyweight fight. And even Dana called it, but I don't think Mick expected that either. But on 2 of the fights, the winner and the loser both got contracts because Dana was so impressed. So the female fight, and then there was like a 125 or 135ers that. But at the end, when Laura's interviewing Dana and he's giving the contracts out, he says UFC Fight Pass is an investment. And these organizations that are putting this talent out, it's a bonus for us.
Yeah.
Because that's where they're pulling all the guys. Granted, we didn't have guys on this past Tuesday, but we've had guys, the past weeks on there. So it's when we offer somebody a contract, like,
Our goal is to get you
Right.
seen by
exactly.
those promote by that
Like,
organization.
We're
where you're
dealing with
trying
some
to go.
guys. I'm dealing with some guys right now that I'm trying to talk some sense into they're under contract with us, but they don't want to fight no more because they're looking for bigger money. Well, I got an offer from another organization. And I was like, well, which one was it? Nothing on Fight Pass, something somewhere else. And it's like, listen, man, like, we will get you to the big money.
So what's your take
The
on
money will
that,
come.
Paris? Like, from a fighter standpoint, whenever, like, say, Eric Garcia offers you a 4-fight deal, but there's another fight next month in, Podunk, Louisiana, and then you got another one in Chumpstein, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You got these other offers, but you got somebody offering you a 4-fight
Yeah.
deal on an international platform. What's the thought process from a fighter's perspective?
I mean, not everybody gets that opportunity, first of all. So you have to take up on that opportunity. And the money's going to come. Like, you start knocking people out, you're winning these fights, and you're getting seen, you're put on UFC Fight Pass, and you're getting promoted and pushed and all that stuff. Like, the money's going to come. Like, why take a short-term money
One
fight.
fight
you know,
off.
You may get what, $500 more, a little bit more, but in the end, is that really worth it? You know, like you got to sacrifice just a little bit of pay, and then, dude, you have a platform to like perform and show out and really show show everybody who you are. You know, so you got to take advantage of that. And I just think people try and take easy fights for more money, but then at the end of the day, like you're wasting your time. Like, and for me too, like I always try and take hard fights, because if I think that I'm meant to make it to the UFC or I can hang with these guys, and you watch the top 10, I'm like, oh, I could beat
You
that
want to
guy.
be battle tested.
Yeah, you want to be battle tested, and by
no
the time you
doubt.
get there, you know, all right, cool. Like I can hang with the best. I train with the best. I beat the best. You know, this, and that. But if you take all these easy fights and then you get there, you're like, oh shit, can I do this? You know, and then you also want to know sooner than later, like, man, am I wasting my time?
Right.
You know, because you only have your youth or however old you are fighting. You know, so you're wasting your time fighting these easy ass fights, and then by the time you get there, or you take a tough fight before you get there, and you get beat up. You know, and then you're like, now what?
Once you get to the UFC, man, everybody's good.
Everybody's good.
Like you're
Yeah.
fighting yourself in there, you know, and it's either your night or that other guy's night. Like
Cream of the crop. It's not
we've
going to get
seen
any easier.
even on
If you
contenders.
try to pad your record at this level and just make it to the UFC, like, okay, I'm undefeated, and you took all these carefully crafted fights or whatever. Whenever you get to the UFC, you're fighting the cream of the crop, the best in the world. You'll get exposed really quick.
Yeah.
Even on contender series, like you see the best guys go out there and throw down. And that was great what Dana did this past Tuesday, because if you get two guys out there and they go after it, even if you lose, man, the chances of getting a contract now, you know, Dana can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Oh, yeah.
And he will.
He
but
does, and he has, and
that
he will
was
continue
super,
to.
but that was fucking badass that he did that.
Kind of just touch on it, man. Basil Hafez, whenever he got called up.
Yes.
And he fought Jack Magdadello.
Yeah, I get stumbled on that too.
Every time.
I thought Basil won that fight,
So
man.
do I.
Me being
So
biased,
do,
whatever,
like, just
but
about, so does anybody that saw that fight pretty much agrees.
Basil won that fight.
Yeah.
Do you think Jack, I mean, whenever he took that fight, Basil took it on short notice. He probably thought, oh, here's this, guy that, doesn't have a, whatever. This newcomer to the UFC, whatever. I'm probably going to just win this fight. It's going to be an easy fight. He's fighting another fighter who you may have never heard of him. You don't know his pedigree. You don't know where he came from or anything. But he's one of the best in the world. Mm-hmm. He's going to push you to your limits. And, that's kind of what you have to you have to prepare for that as you work your way up to the next level.
Yeah. And those guys are dangerous too. That you haven't heard of.
The ones you haven't, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like a Basil Hafez.
They got nothing to lose. They beat that guy Jack, and shit, now he's the star, So
yeah, no doubt. When can we expect you back?
January. I think January is good. I'm about to go to the doctor again in like a couple weeks. Check up on everything. Make sure this is good. I was down for December, but then y'all moved it a week sooner, and I was like, man, there's no way.
Man, I had it set
Selfishly, I want to see it.
Yeah.
I had it set for
Me too.
that 12-10 weekend, but we go out there and do that Fight Pass Invitational.
Mm-hmm. So it was like 12-3, you said, right?
Some bullshit
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
12-9 is the FPI, so I have to do the show 12-3. I didn't want to do it the weekend after because the last UFC card of the year I like to go to. So I'll be gone. That's the only weekend that works.
Selling us out.
Makes sense.
Selling us out.
We'll start the year off with a bang.
We
then.
come out with some bangers, though, man.
That's for sure. We're going to close it out with some bangers. We're going to start off with some bangers.
We're set right now for 20 Fury events in 2024
Jeez.
already, so, and I'm still adding.
And that's just like, through April.
Yeah.
That's like through August,
I believe
actually.
it.
I know.
That's like
That's a
through
lot.
August. You got any questions for us, man?
I just want to hear what's the craziest stories that y'all? Yeah, I heard y'all talk about it earlier, but touch up on it a little bit. But people pulling out of fights, or excuses not to take a fight. What's the craziest stuff that y'all heard? Because I'm sure y'all hear a lot. I hear a lot already. So
I've heard some dumb shit, man. Like
I got the flu.
And then he fought, right?
But I'm getting a test, and I might have the results before the fight.
But I'm good.
That's probably one of the funniest ones, like that we heard at weigh-ins.
I just came down with it yesterday.
Yeah, it was only because he hadn't seen the opponent yet, and then he walks into the weigh-in room. I was like, there he is, right there. Did my opponent show up? There he is, right there. He's like, oh, okay. Well, I just came to tell you I wasn't going to be able to fight. And he's kind of saying it with a little voice. I just want to tell you I can't fight. I said, why? I just came to tell you in person I got the flu.
Oh man.
I was like,
I came to tell you in front of the scale.
Yeah.
So you understand that you'll be suspended, man, if you pull out right now. And then within a half hour later, he comes back. I just got the results back. It wasn't the flu. I'm good.
Man, that's crazy.
He went and watched some Joel Osteen, took a flu test. A couple hours later, he was healed.
Magically healed, man.
There's that one, and then I had some guy miss weight one time by like 8 pounds, and he was like, "Man, I told my girl not to put that salt on my chicken." Man, so it was cooking his shit.
Oh,
So
he had to emphasize on that.
yeah, so he had
The one in
to.
Denver, the one that walked out.
No, that's
Don't say any cities or places or towns.
No,
but I'm
that
gonna
was-
go down. Let's keep it vague.
that's my hometown.
That's
They're-
crazy.
These are real stories, real people.
Man,
Identities changed to protect the guilty.
that's good.
He waited, and then I guess he called you later, said he's not coming back, or he didn't. It was a no-show.
He weighed in
Yeah, I think so.
Denver.
Yeah.
I don't know, Diego. I've done like 300 events,
I've forgotten some good ones. Those are the best ones right there.
probably.
The
I've
salt
forgotten a
on the
lot of
chicken
good
and
ones.
flu.
What happened, Diego? Talk about some massages or some shit. What's going on? Something's
Yeah, you're
on
not
your
even
mind.
leaning into your mic. Your microphone is on
Yeah.
your shoulder. We're not gonna be able to hear your answer, man.
Yeah, what are you doing? You're like,
Nothing. No,
Yeah,
what are you
lavender?
talking about?
you got any?
Enjoying this
You got no?
podcast.
You got no
Yeah, hey,
questions for
did
my
you
man?
have all the questions that I
Paris,
had?
Yeah.
Paris
You-
Moran is in studio.
You had all the
The
questions that I
flyweight
wanted
champion.
to-
Listen,
is
man,
in
you better ask
studio.
him now because
You
when he's
had
in the
nothing
UFC,
for
he
him?
don't want to talk to you.
Oh yeah,
I know.
you're gonna be kicking yourself. You're gonna regret not asking any
Better ask
questions.
him right now.
Well, he had all the good questions that I wanted to ask. You know what I mean? So
You got any questions for Diego? You know, Diego's a. What are you, Diego?
He's a massage parlor connoisseur.
an
He's a-
inspection.
Is that
The
why I smell
NPC.
lavender?
He's the
Yeah,
Is that what it
NPC.
is? Yeah.
Lavender.
Yay!
You got nothing for Paris?
No, I mean you had all the questions that I wanted.
Man, I was
There's
gonna,
one. There's one question though,
Yeah.
as far as the mental game between your opponent. When does it start, or can
Like the
you explain a little
growling?
bit? Yeah, the growling. You know, going back to that. Like when you're watching the opponent, does it start in the weigh-ins or even before?
Because you
then?
see some guys get in other dudes' face at weigh-ins and shit. And does that play a role? Did Jose do that to
Jose
you?
did that to me too. Nah, it didn't bother me. I kind of laughed a little bit. I was like, dude, what is he doing, bro? Like,
He's trying to help sell the
Dude,
fight.
no, the crazy, yeah.
Nothing but respect. for
And
that.
you know, I'll touch up on that later too. But I mean, yeah, MMA is a sport, but I mean, it's also a business too. So you have to be exciting and you have to bring something, you know, to draw everybody in, you know. But like, whenever we were facing off, it was so funny. Like, he walked up with his backpack, and I saw that. I was like, that's weird. And
there's
then,
lunch
I
in
remember
there.
that.
bro, and then he started reaching in. I was like, dude, is this about to grab a knife or some shit, like about to stab me.
You guys
And then he
mask.
pulled the mask out. And I was
Yeah.
just like, dude, what the?
Oh man.
Put the mask on really
remember
quick, and
that.
I was just dying laughing. And then before the fight, I went to go turn in my tickets at Will Call, like, you know, where y'all get the tickets at. And he was in front of me, and he turned around, he looked at me. I looked at him, I nodded at him. He didn't say anything.
He was looking for his mask.
Didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
Then, as he's walking away, he gets in my face. He's like, "I'm gonna kill you, bitch." I was like, "He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you." And your wife was there. She's like, "Security." I was like, "You're good. He ain't gonna do shit." And then he walked away, and then, you know, like all
Yeah,
that talk.
scare my wife and shit. Jose,
Damn.
shame on you, Jose.
on, man.
So that's why I
Trying
shot
to
at
kill
him.
people.
You know, and like
Yeah.
afterwards, I started shooting at him, and I didn't even think about it. Sometimes, you know, when the adrenaline's going, you're talking about Cody Steele screaming
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
like
yeah.
it just happens.
Man, in that moment, dude, the
The-
adrenaline's flowing, the blood is pumping, and that's what can I do? What can I do, man? You start
You know.
shooting.
He told me he was gonna kill me. So after I tapped him, I was like, nah, like
He's actually
kill you.
he moved to Houston, I think,
nice.
and he's training at 4 ounce now.
Okay. Yeah, good for him, man.
So we'll probably be bringing him back. He told me he wants to come back next year.
So that's good. Yeah,
I'm sure there's some guys for him. He could fight Freddie Rodriguez.
that'd be a good fight.
It's another
Yeah,
fight
man.
for Freddie.
Dude, him and
Okay.
Jacob Silva
Good
was a
fight.
good fight.
Him and Jacob was a good fight
They're
too.
going at it.
Yeah.
Dude,
Man.
Jacob Silva, any fight Jacob Silva's in is a good
Entertaining.
fight, man. Yeah.
Those up kicks are so crazy, bro. That's funny. He's throwing them things like.
Yeah, Jacob's something else when it comes to that shit. He hit Tyler Bielecki with that up kick and then Kimura him like reverse or some
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Remember? And blood drip.
Squirting out of his head.
There's never a
Got
boring
a
fight that Jacob's in.
lot of love for the little animal.
I've
Awesome, that's
pitched.
good.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast last week, but I offered Piccinini to
Okay.
Jacob Silva.
Yeah.
I know what he said.
Yeah.
Jacob said yeah.
Yeah, so
What-
we're waiting on Nick to see if he's going to be available. But if we do it, we'll do it 12-3.
Okay.
Be a good test for Nick.
Yeah. And honestly, man, I think if Jacob beats Piccinini, that could be your
Yeah,
fight.
I'm in for that too.
That could
That's
be
cool.
your fight,
Yeah.
man. So
You heard it
I'm down for
here
that.
first.
yeah,
Yes, sir. Let's go.
we're gonna make that
Put a little asterisk on it,
Put a
you know,
little-
pending.
Jacob. So now
pending,
Nick
if this
Piccinini's not
happens.
an easy fight.
No.
So
hell
and
no.
unfortunately, I can't really say the same for Nick. You know, I'd like for him to win like 2 more at least, 2 or 3 more before he gets a shot at the title.
Yeah, that
Another
makes
guy
sense. He's still
that-
very early in his career.
that's asking me for a title fight is Luis Garule.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, he fought right before I did too.
Yeah,
Fought J-Boy, right?
Yeah, he fought J-Boy. So he's fought both his fights at 35 with us. He beat Carlos Lazoya, finished him, and then he just fought J-Boy and went the distance. And I actually have him set for October 22nd. So he's coming back to fight at 25 against another 6-1 guy.
Who's he fighting?
Some new guy just signed, Gerardo Graniel.
Okay.
So he's from like Mexico City.
It's a good fight. Yeah. I
So
mean, brothers.
we had 25.
25 stacked.
We
35
talk
stacked.
about 35 and 45 being stacked. 135.
We got some
the
25s,
featherweights and the bantamweights, man. The flyweight division is not short of killers.
And like, you know, the goal of Fury is to prospects, man. Like, we're trying to build prospects. If we have at least one prospect in every single fight on the card, and that's normally how I'll start matching it. I'll put the prospect down, and then obviously there's got to be a B-side. But sometimes there's really no B-side, and it's prospect versus prospect.
Yeah.
You know, and then I look around and I see some of these other promotions, and they're like, they've got vet versus vet. You got like a fucking 24-12 guy versus a 18-10 guy. Who's the fucking prospect? Like, who do you pick up? Like, this is just advice to another promotion. Like, if you want to,
Hey, don't be selling the secret
if you
sauce,
want to
Eric.
build some talent, man, you're gonna have to spend some money. You're gonna have to fly some guys in, and you're gonna have to start building talent.
Yeah.
Like doing vet versus vet and the main event, co-main event, shit like that, man. That's not.
I
Gonna put no
remember,
eyes.
like, you know, earlier.
It doesn't do good for the guys that are on the undercards either, man, because nobody's gonna watch that.
I remember earlier in our journey, like on the earlier Fury cards, you know, we try to do some of that, and what you end up running into sometimes is, you know, I mean, especially with those vets, those higher records, man, like an injury happens, somebody pulls out. So this fight that you've hyped is, oh, this guy versus this guy, and it's going to be the mega collision. It doesn't happen because of, you know, that. I mean, that's another factor.
Well, you got to stack your card high too. So if you do
Yeah.
lose the main event, anybody could slide in.
Yeah.
You know, to the co-main or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have a heavy record guy, you might want to put him with like a 7-0 or 7-1 or something like that.
There goes Eric telling everybody how to do it.
Hey,
All right.
man.
Sauce, you know, you're
That's
gonna
all I
take
could
notes.
do is tell him, man, take your fucking notes.
Any
Yeah.
advice for up-and-coming fighters or wanting to go into the MMA?
Man, I mean, I know as
Don't.
cliche as it sounds, yeah, don't go get a job, you know. Nah, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's very self-rewarding, you know. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices too that it takes, and a lot of discipline. You know, you start getting pulled in different directions, but you got to stay, you know, on the path and make a lot of sacrifice. Like, I could work if I wanted to right now, but I'm like, dude, I don't want to sacrifice, or I don't want to take a little bit of pay right now, and then not make it or whatever happens, you know, and then be like, man, I wish I would have,
Right.
you know, taken that risk and,
Yeah.
you know, embrace the struggle a little bit. You know, yeah, it's hard. I don't work. I have money saved and I have sponsors. Shout out to Crumpets and
What is
Notorious. It's a weed brand.
Weed brand.
Yeah, they're out in LA.
What kind of weed?
Yeah. CBD. No, I'm just kidding. It's a small batch grow, so they specialize in one strain. Well, now they have two. But
Maybe
yeah,
get him with Fury.
dude, I can.
Tell 'em
I can
come
talk
on.
to him. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll call
man.
him after this.
We'll make sure that they get seen everywhere, not
Oh
just
yeah,
LA. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I'll put them on. That's good. Yeah,
That's your primary sponsor?
Yeah.
Anybody else you want to shout out
and
while you're here?
Notorious Jewelers too. Yeah, that's my second
They make his
sponsor.
grills.
Yeah,
They're gonna make that engagement ring.
they'll make actually that was in talks. Yeah, so once I do
Give Wayne their number.
Hey,
Yeah, give
I'll
me their
send you.
number.
I'll forward them over to you. You know. No, we were shooting a video, man, and I had all this ice on. It was
I
so
seen
funny,
that.
bro.
That-
I can't afford none of that, dude.
I seen that.
Dude, like those chains are like
Hey,
80 grand.
Yes, we'll talk about out there. But these promotional
Yeah.
sponsorship, these are opportunities for them to
Yeah.
get seen around the world, and there's a value to that.
Hell yeah.
So yes, you
Nah.
can afford it with the Paris Moran brand.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Ooh, nice. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Golly.
Yes,
Come
sir.
on, man.
Thank
I
you.
can't
My
do this
bad.
for everybody,
My bad,
but I'll do
man.
it for
I
you.
appreciate you. Yes, sir.
I think it's time to get out of here, Wayne.
All right, let's go get some lunch. Hey, guys, the
yeah.
time for talk is over. This has been Fury Unleashed.
Let's go.
And now, Houston, Texas, make some noise because the time for talk is over. It's time to unleash the Fury.